Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Friday. I'm Craig. This is Spirit of Vinyl. Hope you guys all had a great week. It's finally Friday, so weekend's just getting started. Talk about some records here today, as per usual. Like I said, I hope you guys are all doing well. All right, so what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to talk another First Time Spins episode. This will be episode 4 of that. For those of you who are new to the channel, basically like 3 years ago, I found a whole bunch of records, and at the beginning of this year, 2025, I went through that and realized there was 70 or so that I had never played in the 3 years that I'd had them, so I decided to play them and see what they sound like first time spinning them, whether I enjoy them or not or whatever. Like I said, this is episode 4 of that. So there's 3 more. You can go back and see my reactions to some of those. All these albums are, from the 70s and 80s mostly. So, yeah, and I'd never heard them or whatever. Of course, bands I'm aware of or whatever, and nothing's brand new to me. Nothing has been, really. But this week is going to be a little different because every album is a live album. I've got, let's see, I think there's 9 of them here today. So they're all live. What happened is I was like, okay, what am I going to listen to on this first time spins thing? I've been listening to them over the last couple of weeks. And Discogs, when I started hitting random until I found one that was on my list. And the first one was a live album, so I just went with live albums and listened to all the live albums. Overall, I'm not a huge live album fan. There are some live albums that I really, really dig, but overall, I guess it depends on how well they're recorded or whatever. So, and I guess I can't say I'm not a huge live album fan because there's a bunch of live albums I like. So maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. All right, so we're going to start here, 1978, Kansas, 2 for the Show. This is, like I said, 1978. This is a European press. This is their 6th album overall. There's the back cover there. There's the inside cover here. The track listing on this has Song for America, Point of No Return, Paradox, Icarus, Born on the Wings of Steel, Portrait, Carry On Wayward Son, Journey from Maria Braun, Dust in the Wind, Lonely Wind, Mysteries of Mayhem, excerpt from Lamplight Symphony, The Wall, Closet Chronicles, and Magnum Opus. It doesn't really come in that well here. It's kind of hard to see. So that's the track listing on this. Let's see here. Inner sleeves. These got some pretty cool inner sleeves. Nice, cool pictures of the band playing live. Some more on this one. And it is on Kirshner Records, which is, I think this might be the only album I have on Kirshner Records. I've never seen this label before. They didn't do a whole lot. Kirshner didn't, from what I can see. So, but yeah, so there was that. So like I said, it's a double record set. And honestly, I only knew... And I'm not a big, huge Kansas fan. Of course, the 3 songs that I mentioned in that list that we all know, Point of No Return, Carry On Wayward Son, and Dust in the Wind. So that's all I knew of this album, was just those 3 songs. But I felt the album was done very well. It was recorded well. It's well produced. Very, very good musicians. It's kind of a cool prog rock, hard rock type of album. Like I said, it's well produced, well mixed, and everything else. It's a little piano heavy for my taste. Sometimes Kansas gets a little, and we all know what they sound like. We all know those songs, Carry On Wayward Son and stuff like that. So overall, it was a good record. It's nothing I'm going to go to a whole bunch of times, but I didn't hate it. How's that sound? So it was pretty cool. Let's see, and this album did go, number 32 on the Billboard Top 200 and is a platinum record. And I don't know if I said this is their 6th overall record. So let me get those out of the way so we can get to the next one. Let's see here. So the next album is 1971, Free Live. This album came out in 71. This is a 78 Japanese press on Island Records, and this is Free's 5th album overall. Paul Rodgers, who later goes on to form Bad Company, is the lead singer. There's the back of it. It just kind of looks like an envelope there. Nice obi, very good sides here. Let's see, it's also, of course, you know, it's got the Japanese insert with it. And like I said, it's on Island Records. There's a label for that right there. So, but overall, let's see, I don't have the track listing on here. Oh, well, it's got All Right Now, I'm a Mover. There's the track listing right there. So you have to listen to me continue to speak. It's a really good record. It sounds live. It's nice and raw sounding. It does sound live. And it's a kind of a classic blues rock type sound. And let's see, it says the last song isn't live. I think that's Get Where I Belong, if I remember correctly. Let's see, yeah, Get Where I Belong is not live. The rest of the album is live. And the last song, that Get Where I Belong, is probably the weakest song on the record. But this is just cool. Like I said, a cool blues rock sound, just a pretty cool record. And then, you know, Paul Rodgers goes on to form Bad Company later. This is his previous band. So, that album, not terrible either. I could probably spin that one again for sure. I mean, it's, you know. So, next up, 1978, David Bowie Stage. This is US Press on RCA Victor. This is the second live album from Bowie and the 14th overall. So he's got 12 studio albums and one other live album besides this. This one went to number 5 in the UK and number 44 in the United States. There's your track listing right there. Give you a second to read that. So pretty cool track listing. There's what it looks like on the inside. And it's got the classic RCA Victor logo on it. I like this album a lot. I really do. You know, I mean, I like Bowie. I like some of the stuff that comes out after this mostly. You know, I mean, Let's Dance is probably my favorite Bowie album. Honestly, it's because of my age, I guess. But it's done so well. It's just excellent done. It's an excellent album. It's got great musicians. It just sounds awesome. It's well produced. It's well mixed. And they're great all the way through. This whole album is just done very, very well. Side 3, look at side 3 right there. That gets a little experimental, I guess you'd say. But overall, Bowie 78, his voice is on point. His band is excellent. It's just a great, great album. I like this a lot. What's not to like about Bowie? I mean, honestly, my wife, there's a story. My wife, she's like, I hate David Bowie. I'm like, how could you hate David Bowie? I don't know. I just don't like the way he sings. Or I'm like, I don't know if we can still be married. So, but yeah, I will definitely go back and play that one again and again. The fact that I've been sitting on it for 3 years and never played it, kind of disappointing. All right, next up, 1980, from the Eagles. This is the Eagles Live. This is a Japanese press on Asylum Records. This is their 7th overall and basically the last album until they get back together in 94 and do Hell Freezes Over. And basically this album was released due to the fact they had a contractual obligation and they had to put out another record. Like I said, this came out in 1980. The band had not officially broken up by the time this came out, but they were broken up. They just hadn't told anybody yet, basically. And so they had to put another album out, so they put out a live album. There's your track listing right there. So, I mean, it's a killer track listing. It's a great... There's the inside of it there. Lots of notes and stuff. You said this is a Japanese press, so of course you have the, let's see here, I got 2 inserts here. This one is song lyrics in English. And this is your Japanese insert. It's just one-sided. It also came with a cool little order form. And it has this giant poster, this fold-out poster. On one side, let's see, okay, this is going to take me a second here. So there's the one side. It's basically the inside cover of the record. And the other side is this cool picture of the band. Look how crispy this poster is. This goes to show basically what kind of records I found that day. It's like it's never been unfolded. I might be the first person to have unfolded it, honestly. Inner sleeves has that same picture from the poster, and then it's got the track listing on the other side depending on the record. This one there, this one's a little different. Overall, this is a pretty good record. It went to number 24 in the UK, number 6 in the US. This is a 7-time platinum album. It's a great album. It's got a great track list, but it's almost overproduced. And I was reading up on it on Wikipedia and Discogs and different things, and they state that they basically overproduced this record and overdubbed it. It's live, and then they went back in the studio, with 4 members on one side of the country and 4 members on the other side of the country. And I read the quote, and he says it's probably the only live album that was produced on 2 different coasts, re-recorded, and that's why they thanked 5 lawyers in the middle of it. That's what the producer says. They put in 5 different lawyers' names for thank yous in here because they were the ones taking care of all of the business stuff, and they were sending tapes back and forth. This is 1980, so they would overdub in Tampa and then send those to Joe Walsh and other guys who were still in California, and they would do their recordings and they would send it back and forth and back and forth. So that's kind of how that album was put together. But I thought it was great. It has like I said, it's a great track listing. Just the Eagles, like I said, it was the end of the Eagles, but overall, it's a really great record, so. All right, so next up from 1977, Bee Gees Here at Last. This is their first live album, and it went to number 8 in the US, and this is a platinum record. There's track listing, kind of hard to see there. You can see this one's not in as great a shape as some of the other ones I found. You can see it's got some ring wear right there. Inside's got this cool picture of the band playing live here. Inner sleeves are pictures of the band on one side, track listing on the other. It's a double live record, and it is on the RSO label. This is the only Bee Gees album I have, besides the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, and this album is mixed and produced well, and they sound excellent. Great harmonies, great vocals. It's just not for me. It wasn't my style. I didn't really enjoy this a whole lot just because of that. Too much, I don't know, 1970s mom rock, I guess you'd call it. I don't know, it's just, commercial pop bubblegum type sound, I guess you'd say. So not really my style, but like I said, it is mixed well. And they're great musicians, and they have great backing musicians, and they're great singers. And but overall, it just wasn't for me. That's all. Wouldn't be something I'm gonna really jump back on a whole bunch. It's not worth a whole lot. It's not worth trying to get rid of or anything else. So just stay over there, and I'll play it every couple of years maybe. All right, next up from 1980, Fleetwood Mac Live. This is a gold disc press. Mostly recorded on the Tusk Tour, and this album went to number 31 in the UK, number 14 in the US, and is a gold record. It's well produced, sounds good for a live album, and I'm not really a huge fan. There's your track listing on the back of that. These are great songs. There's a lot of great songs on here, as you can see. the gatefold looks awesome. I mean, this is cool stuff. You know, this is Fleetwood Mac kind of. You know, they were on their, like I said, I think it said the Tusk tour. Is that what I got written down? Yeah, they were on the Tusk tour. Actually says so right here on the inner sleeve. It's got all the dates of where they played. And then the other sleeve has all the notes and everything else on there. Warner Brothers Records. And like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Fleetwood Mac. I mean, Rumors is a great album. And everything I have Mystery to Me. I really do like that album. So, you know, and I've got one more Fleetwood Mac over there that I have not played. It's still on my list. Like I said, this is a great album despite me not knowing a whole bunch of songs on here. Of course, you know, Say You Love Me, Dreams, and Landslide, and Rhiannon, and, you know, Go Your Own Way, Don't Stop, all those songs. Everybody knows those songs. You can't help but, you know, if you've been around. But I didn't know a lot, you know, probably more than half of this record. I didn't know these songs because, like I said, I'm not that huge of a Fleetwood Mac fan. I do have a copy of Rumors, and I do have Mystery to Me, and I also have, I don't know, I've got one more over there whose title escapes me now. But this is done really well. It's recorded really well. They're a great band. They really are. They're really great musicians, great harmonies, great voices. Pretty cool record all the way. I did like it a lot. And if I keep listening and the way I keep reacting to all the other Fleetwood Mac I hear, I might end up having to buy more. Next up, Eric Clapton, Just One Night, 1980, United States, Richmond Press. This is recorded live at Budokan in December of 1979. This album is a gold record that went to number 2 in the US, number 3 in the UK. There's the back of it there, and there's your track listing right there. Inner sleeve, nice cool picture of Eric here. Little notes written on the other side. This is also an RSO production. This is a very cool blues album. Very cool blues album. Eric Clapton's guitar playing is off the chart. This is a great record. And I don't know a whole lot of, you know, I mean, songs like Tulsa Time, Lay Down Sally, Wonderful Tonight. I mean, I knew more than a handful of songs on this record. This is the only Clapton I own, besides his, you know, all the Cream that I own, because, you know, Cream, that's one thing. This is Clapton solo stuff. But yeah, the band is flawless. His band, his backup band, they're flawless on this record. This is a great record. Just cool rock, blues sound, and just very, very, I mean, it's so good. And Eric Clapton is such a good guitar player, and his backup band and everything that's going along with it, they're flawless. This is a perfect album. This is perfect. It just sounds so cool. If you like Clapton and you don't have this, definitely go pick this up. Okay, let's see here. Next up, Blue Oyster Cult Extraterrestrial Live from 1982. This is a U.S. Carrollton pressing. This is their third live album, 11th overall. They must have been really a fan of live albums. There's the back of it, and let's see if we can get that to come in. There's your track listing right there. Inside cover, like that. It's on Columbia Records. Just your basic red Columbia label on there. This went to number 39 in the UK, number 29 in the US. It says it's mostly recorded during their 1981 tour of Fire of Unknown Origin. It's a good record. I did like it. It's better than the other live album I have of theirs, is On Your Feet, On Your Knees. I really didn't care for that. Not that it wasn't done well. I think that was because it was so early. I didn't know any of those songs. So listening to this one, I knew a lot more of the songs on here. Because it's got Don't Fear the Reaper and Godzilla and Burning for You, and they do a rendition of Roadhouse Blues by the Doors. Is the last song on here. It's mixed fairly well. it is a little flat in spots, and sometimes I feel like the drums are too high in the mix overall. But it's a cool, hard rock album. It really is. It's a cool record. If you like Blue Oyster Cult, this is a good record. Like I said, I did like this better than On Your Feet, On Your Knees. The thing with On Your Feet, On Your Knees is that so early, I didn't know any of that music, but I knew off of this. And, they were on that Fire of Unknown Origin tour, which was a big hit for them. So the crowd's into it. It's pretty cool. And it's, I liked it. I did like it. I will play this one again for sure. And I got one more. And I did save it for the end for a reason, and you'll find out why. It's because it's Johnny Paycheck, New York Town. And you watch my channel, I don't like country music. There's your track listing on there, and I say things like, I don't like country music. It's because mostly I don't like country music. This is a U.S. Santa Maria press. It looks like it's his 21st or 22nd record. Kind of hard to tell. And this is essentially originally was a WHN live radio concert done in New York City. And this is a cool record, man. I listened to this. This is the most recent one in memory. I listened to this last night. I went upstairs when I was done. I was like, told my wife, I says, you know this? She's like, well, of course I know Johnny Paycheck. She was raised on country music. Her parents raised her, that's what she heard growing up. Of course, this has got take this job and shove it on here. But this is just cool outlaw country. Whoever's playing the steel guitar on here, let's see who that is here. Jim Big Murph Murphy. Man, that guy can play that guitar. Playing the steel guitar, just excellent. I mean, this was just a cool, honky-tonk sounding, just a very, very cool outlaw country album. It's pretty cool. Let's see. There's a song called 11 Months, and that's one really stuck out. 11 Months and 29 Days. It's a great song. I mean, this is just cool stuff. Johnny Paycheck, just blazing out that outlaw country sound. Very cool stuff. I say I don't like country music, and I gotta think it's probably more about era. This was on Epic Records. I think when it comes to country, it might be more about era, because this is from 1980, and I like the Johnny Cash that I have, and I like some of that early Willie Nelson stuff, and I like Waylon Jennings and things like that. So, but coming of age in the 80s, the country that we had going on then, I do have a few of those, like an Alabama record I need to listen to and things like that. We'll see how that goes. But overall, I've never cared for country music. Being a guy who's into rock and metal, to me, it's like, where's the guitar solos? Who's the songwriters? Who are these people? They're just singers. A lot of country musicians, they can kind of play the guitar, and they don't even write their own songs, So that's why I've always had this thing kind of against country music. I feel like, but then I go back and I listen to Johnny Cash or Willie Nelson or, Waylon Jennings or something like that. I'm like, okay, I like this stuff. I like this outlaw sound or whatever. So maybe, I'm never going to be a huge country music fan, but I am not against this at all. This was actually a really cool record and just an amazing band, and they just rocked the house that night. So very cool stuff. So that's what I had for my first time spins, all live albums, and no more live albums for me for a while, because that's all I've listened to for the last couple weeks is what you just saw there. I threw some stuff in between here and there, but overall I've been listening to live records for the last couple weeks. So anyway, that's all I got. I want to thank you all for watching once again. I want to thank Trevor and Trevor from Flat Round and Spun, and Gary from Physical Format, and Anthony Gambler for having me on their live stream last week. That was a ton of fun. I had a blast, guys. If you didn't see that, you can go over and check that out on Trevor's channel. We just sat around and bullshitted for a couple hours. It was a good time. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. You guys all have a great one. We'll talk to you all next week.